Ahoy toy, welcome to Transfixed, the channel that used to be bigger until it underwent the micronization process. Tonight we're going to take a look at the MEP Toys Commander BREETAI figure, a Robotech figure. He comes in this package here. As you can see, it's Robotech with the dreaded Harmony Gold logo on the back, and of course made by MEP Toys. I've never heard of MEP Toys before, but it's for fans by fans, according to the box. And I should have done some more research into this company before I did the video, but I didn't. But I later found out that MEP Toys is just a very small company. It's just this guy who has a freelance engineering and prototyping company, and then he's got looks like 4 other people working with him, and he's doing 3D printing stuff. He's making a really cool 1/48 scale Invid Scout, and I think he's also doing some figures of the Invid Regent and Regis. He's got a little Zentradi Battlecruiser 3D printed model that I think you can download. So interesting stuff, but yeah, it definitely is a little fan-made company. So I guess, having said that, it is impressive that he's pulled this off with such a small team, and I thought I should mention it. So it'll be interesting to see what else he comes up with. I'm curious to follow his progress. And this is what he looks like in the package before I removed him. And this is what he looks like now. BREETAI is a 6-inch figure. He does measure up at just shy of 6 inches. 5.9 is what it claims. But yes, he is just shy of 6 inches, and I'm going to be doing a lot of size comparisons with other figures after I go through the figure itself. So, he comes in the box with these 2 kind of just relaxed hands. I've switched this one to the gripping hand. He also has a gripping left hand to match that one, and he has 2 fists, and he also comes with 2 other accessories. One is this pipe, which I think he used in the show when he was trying to smash some Veritex or something. It's been a while since I watched it, and I almost canceled my pre-order of this figure, but this other accessory he came with changed my mind. He comes with this tiny little Rick Hunter in his ejection seat, I believe. And if you're patient enough, you can probably get him to hold onto it with the relaxed hand, because I saw a photo of him doing that. This is a nicely painted little Rick too, considering how tiny it is. Nicely detailed. But the gripping hand is too closed. It's not like, actually, oh gosh, the thumb and forefinger are attached together. So I don't see any way you could get him into that hand. That would just be for the pipe. Same with this one, it is closed. And you can swap these hands, of course, obviously, but I've only changed the one so far, and it was quite hard to pull out, and I've already got a stress mark on it just from trying to wiggle that out. So let's try the other one. Yeah, it's making a stress mark on it already, because you can't just pull it straight out. Maybe this one you can. The hands are very rigid plastic. The rest of the body has a slight give to it. But geez, I'm not comfortable swapping those hands. So let's go into the articulation. That part is going to be a little bit disappointing. The legs have no knee bend, no foot joint. The only thing you can do, this is like worse than a Star Wars figure. The only thing you can do is rotate the leg where it attaches into his tunic, I suppose is what you call it. That's all you can do with that, which is kind of useless. They don't really even need to give you that. But I mean, most of the time he is going to be standing there as a military commander, but that's a bit disappointing. There's no waist articulation. His head is on a swivel, not a ball joint. There feels like there's a bit of a give in the collar here. I think that might just be a separate piece, but it's just a swivel, nothing else in there. The shoulders do have a disc joint there, so it can go up and down, and of course rotate all the way around. And then in the elbow, he's got a bend, and this has a rotation. You can rotate that. Oops. You can rotate these arms around a bit, and they're pretty standard. Bit of you can see how the cut works here. This is this looks fine when his hand is down, but it kind of sticks out a bit there. when you've bent it. And then in the wrist, of course, because these are on little ball pegs here, these can rotate, but they don't have a lot of give other than the rotation. A little bit though, a little bit of movement there. These cuffs are molded in. There's no rotation at the wrist or anything like that. So yeah, basically here, swivel, this, and that's all you get really. Which might be enough. Like I said, for the character, you know, he's gonna stand here, and the paint's pretty good. I don't really see any obvious flaws jumping out at me. The sculpt is nice. The face sculpt looks really good. And the price did come down a bit. When I first pre-ordered this guy, I think he was going for $30 US, but it lowered. Maybe it was 25. Anyway, he's $22 US on Big Bad Toy Store. That's where I got him from. And I don't know. I guess that's probably a fair price. About all there is. I mean, except for these big disco shoes here. That's accurate to the show, though. It's a pretty nice sculpt. Pretty well painted. Let's show some size comparisons. That's where you'll really get a sense of whether he's right for you. Now, I'd love to show you a comparison with this and the Kits Concept 6-inch Rick Hunter figure, but unfortunately I sold that one recently. So here he is with the 4-inch scale, or 4-inch version of Rick Hunter, and then one of the original Matchbox figures as well. Here he is with some other 6-inch figures. That's a movie Captain America, of course, on the left, and then a Vindicator on the right, which is a pretty standard buck for a 6-inch Marvel Legends figure. So you can see he's just a bit shorter than they are. And here's how he scales next to a couple of Star Wars Black figures. Aren't you a little short for a Stormtrooper? Now, this BREETAI is supposed to be 1/100th scale, so here he is with some actual 1/100th scale Valkyries. That's the Bandai High Metal R on the left, and the Toonami on the right. Now, the Toonami is a little bit smaller than the Bandai, even though they're both supposed to be the same scale. But I don't know which one's correct, but I'm going to go with Bandai as probably being more correct. Anyway, I think that's a pretty good scale. And just to swap it out, let's take away this one. This is another High Metal R, but it's in Batroid mode, Battleline mode. And not standing up totally straight, but yeah, they're about the same height, so I think that works. Now they can fight. Let them fight. And also, since this one is the 2-seater with a little Lin Minmay there, we can see if the Minmay scales with Rick. This should be great. Pretty close. I suppose Minmay would be smaller than Rick, but no, she's a little, I don't know. What do you think? Probably a little too small, eh? A little too small. But, I mean... Oh, and of course there's our little Rick in the cockpit. So, let's see. So let's see how this scales with... Oh, no, he's way too big. Way too big. So this Rick is not 1/100th scale. Unless this Rick is not 100th scale. It's so confusing. Anyway, if you're putting these on the same shelf, just don't put them too close together. This one doesn't come with a pilot, but he looks like he would be a little too large for that. And this is a smaller figure. Here he is with the much larger Kits Concept Valkyrie, which is not the 100th scale. I think that's a 172 scale. And I'm pretty sure this Bandai High Metal R Battle Pod is not the same scale, because I don't think BREETAI can fit in there. Pretty sure he's going to hurt himself. No, this is like a 1/223 scale or something like that. And here he is with my grade 11 ceramics project, Mr. Bump, and some twine. That's probably enough size comparisons. Moving on. Well, anyway, that's pretty much this BREETAI figure in a nutshell. I was surprised that it actually is made by MEP Toys instead of Toonami, which has been making the other Robotech licensed figures, you know, like this one and this one. So, yeah, different company. He's less anime style too. I mean, well, he looks a little more realistic too. Like when you put him next to these figures, they're a bit cartoony. And these ones don't have elbow articulation, which stinks. By the way, I do have a video about this figure and the 6-inch Rick on my channel if you want to see that. well, more about the 6-inch one and comparing to him. And I do have also a huge comparison video of all of these 1/100 scale, well, actually, of all of these Valkyrie figures that I have in various scales. So check that out if you're interested in Robotech and Macross stuff. But that wraps it up for tonight. So thanks for watching, and good night.